Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been 10 years since I've created content on YouTube. Um, but I thought since everybody's bringing back 2016 into 2026, I thought I'd bring my little self back into social media, and hopefully you guys welcome me back with open arms, and hopefully we're here to stick around this time. And I'm going to go ahead and explain to you guys why I've been off social media, and hopefully you guys have a better understanding of why I went cold turkey off social media. And I'll be doing my makeup routine as usual while I explain. So yeah, keep watching. So we're gonna keep it old school and keep it with the Mario setting spray as well as the Pond's lotion. I honestly never changed my skincare routine. I feel like all those additional steps, I'm not telling you not to wash your face, but I feel like all these products that are being sold nowadays, they're like super concentrated with like alcohol. I'm not saying all, but some. And I've honestly just kept it with Pond's and this setting spray. And my skin, I feel like it still looks good. And I have older skin now. I'm 34. But, I honestly felt like I had a skin change after I had my daughter. Once I had my daughter, I feel like I had super dry skin, so I had to keep it more hydrated. And I feel like this is what still kept it going for me. But I just had to double the dose. So instead of me just applying once, I had to like super let everything soak in and then go again and soak in. So while we let that settle in, let me tell you why I've been off social media for 10 years. So if you guys remember, I started to do YouTube videos back in 2016, and then I super went all in 2017. Amongst all of this, behind the scenes, you can say, I was battling something mentally because my dad was diagnosed with colon cancer when I was in high school. So, um, with that, my child's back there, so trying to keep her off the camera for now. Ah! Anyways, she's gonna come out one day or another. I'm gonna bring her out so you guys can meet my baby. But I was battling a lot of things mentally. I was trying to balance my work, my relationship at the time, his son at the time, my dad, working with my brother to taking him to the doctors and stuff like that, because at that time my parents had already separated. I was already older when my parents got separated for the second time. So just letting you guys know, if you guys are really not going to work things out, do not get back together because it really does take a toll in your kid's life. It mentally just messes them up. So anyways, so I was just battling a lot of things and I never got therapy for it. Never. I just felt like I could deal with it. I could deal with it on my own, and and continue about my day, and all of that was just accumulating, and I didn't realize how much I was sleeping. How I even just got off like social media. I didn't even realize how I left off of YouTube. Like I literally was gonna continue doing makeup videos and all that stuff, and one day to another I just shut down because of certain situations in my past relationship, and me grieving my dad's death, honestly. When my dad passed away, it put me in a place where the people that had things against him while he was alive, I feel like a big weight was lifted off my shoulders because I didn't have to protect my dad anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and conceal my ojeras. As you can tell, now that I'm a mother, I have more ojeras than before. So I cover them up with this concealer here. Um, what was I saying? I get that a lot now too. Now that I have my daughter, it's like, oh, what was I saying? So anyways, so when my dad passed away, like a big weight was lifted off my shoulders because I felt like I didn't need to protect him as much anymore. I was on on honestly defense mode for everything, anything and everything that was being brought up about my mom and that would upset my dad. Like I would instantly snap. And honestly, those were not battles that I had to be doing because it wasn't my business. But because parents tend to make it your business, you tend to, make it your business. So, so anyways, so when my dad passed away, a big weight was lifted off my shoulders. I felt so like I don't have to defend him anymore. My dad's at peace. My dad's, not hurting anymore. And but I was still battling with the fact that he was no longer here. This was a person that when I would get off of work, I would immediately call him. So he was my call to my house. You know how sometimes we have these calls when we're driving home with like either our friends or our cousins or whatever. That was my call. So when he passed away, like my calls were so quiet. I was just very deep in my thoughts and it was just starting to consume every little bit of me. Like, but I didn't realize it. I was just like a robot. So I'm gonna go ahead and add, now that I added my concealer, I'm gonna go ahead and add my Banana Creation setting powder, just a little bit. As you can tell, I'm almost done. Just a little bit just to seal that. I literally just dab. And then I kind of spread it with my fingers because I don't want it to be too clumpy when I add my foundation. So, I would drive home from work and I would be so sad, because I wouldn't have anyone to talk to. And the relationship at the time was just hitting rock bottom. I'm not going to bash him and I'm not going to bring him up too much just because I feel like it's been such a long time and he got his karma. Um, and I'm sure he regrets everything he did, but what's done is done, and I just don't want to move anything from there. But at the time when I was going through this, it was just very hard because that person didn't understand that I just lost the biggest part of my life, which was my dad. So he had his parents, and at the time, like, he wanted me to snap out of this, and like just get over the fact that my dad died. And that started to create more problems. And then I found out of what he had done and how long he had that going on. And it was just a total mess to where my mind just instantly shut down, to where my way of protecting myself was just closing everything off, closing my social media. No one's going to hurt me. No one's going to, bash me over stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, social media, social media. And I ended up realizing that as I got older. When you're younger, I mean, I was 24 years old. When you're younger, your mentality is very like, it's still like, it doesn't get built on criticism, but it kind of still gets to you. So behind the scenes, certain things were happening and it was just bothering me. So, anyways, so I was battling that driving home from work. It was starting to get to me, and I just didn't want to bring that onto the cameras every time I would get on. Like, I didn't want to give you guys a fake side of me, because I was gonna be 100% fake, like being on camera, because I just couldn't mentally be here. Like, my mind was just so sad all the freaking time. Like, I was even drinking a little bit more, and I know it's like, I didn't become an alcoholic, but I noticed that the only time that I felt like I was happy and um I would kind of forget a little bit was when I would drink. And then I started to drink excessively when I would go out, and it didn't become fun anymore. I started to be one of those people that would fucking be crying. Um and I didn't want that. I didn't want to become that. You know what I mean? Sorry, I forgot to show you guys my foundation, LA Girl. You guys know I stick to LA Girl. It's the cheapest foundation, but I honestly feel like it gives you like that full coverage. And if you know how to work with it, you will get full coverage. So I've been keeping it with LA Girl. So yeah, I started to drink and I felt like I wasn't having fun anymore. I was starting to cry every time I would drink. And it was because I just missed my dad a lot. You know, he was the closest parent I was close to at the time. And just not having him to go to for rough times, like I just didn't know what was going to become of myself, my life, just in general. Like I just felt so lost. So instead of portraying that into my YouTube videos, I just freaking shut myself down like 100%. Kitty cat, that's my baby girl. Um, so with that, I didn't even realize where I had left off on YouTube until my niece brought this up to my attention. She's like, "Why'd you stop doing YouTube?" And I was like, I kind of gave her like a deeper conversation of what I just explained to you guys. But I kind of let her know, like, it's just, I didn't want to be bringing myself into a YouTube video depressed all the time, you know? Uh, so I did let her know, like, I think I feel ready to come back and just explain to my 4,500 subscribers. Thank you for still staying loyal. That I want to come back and I want to, you know, whether it's continuing doing makeup videos, whether it's showing you guys my day to day life, because I do work from home and then remotely. And then when I have little gigs here and there, I'm going to go ahead and add my concealer. This is Too Faced concealer. Born this way. So yeah, like I feel like I want to come on here and just, you know, get it going. I feel kind of not dumb, but so like kind of disappointed in myself that I completely stopped doing that I allowed, you know, a certain situation like depression get a hold of me at the time and just stop me from continuing this, because I went back to my videos and we were reaching 1.3 million views, 500,000 views like on each video. And this was when social media wasn't even as big as it is now. So I could only imagine how far we would have been if I would have continued doing it, you know. But hey, I'm here with a child and we're gonna get this going. So my reason of coming back on here is also because, as you guys may see, I had a little bundle of joy. And that came with a lot of hormones that a lot of people don't talk about. I don't know if because they're scared of like either getting their child removed by CPS. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and add more setting powder under my eyes now that I concealed. And I know that there's different steps. There's a different way of applying setting powder now. You guys either do it here, here, here. I honestly just keep it like this. And I only apply there and then I smear everything else everywhere. Unless I'm going to go like full glam, then I'm going to go ahead and do, you know, the contour and everything else. But for now, we're just going to go under the eyes. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply my eyelid base, which is P. Louise. If you guys haven't heard of this for your eyeshadow, you guys definitely have to try it. This is specifically for me, so I don't really use a brush. I apply it directly. So anyway, so I had my daughter, and as soon as I had her, when I tell you, my hormones were not what I thought was gonna happen when I had my daughter. And I don't mean because I got postpartum, not depression, but after you go through postpartum, after you have your baby and stuff, your hormones instantly go out of whack once the baby's out. I don't know if it's like the detachment of the placenta. I honestly don't know what it is. Maybe I should ask my doctor. But I instantly felt a change in my hormones. Like I was very um you know how some dogs, not me comparing myself to a dog, but you know how some dogs tend to growl at people when they feel like you're, touching their pups and stuff. That's exactly how I was. It was very like I wanted to protect my baby. Like me and her were not going to be one anymore, and it's just all these hormones went over me, and I was just very overprotective over my baby, and I didn't want I didn't want no one, and I mean no one, looking after my daughter. I would get up every 2 hours to feed her by myself. I literally took care of her 24/7 by myself, and I still am. A tomato, ma. Sorry, but she's right here. So I take care of her 24/7, and when you first have your baby, if you don't have that help, that support, and I mean from family, friends, your partner, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be a rough, like I don't know what you call, like I guess after postpartum, it's gonna be rough. Emotionally, it's just gonna be very rough, and I feel like that's where I was at. So where I'm going with this, it's because my goal is once we get ourselves back up with our numbers of viewers, likes, whatever, we can open up a facility. I want to open up a facility where moms that don't have that support at home, um, kind of like when you get a surgery, they have recovery homes. You stay there for a week, yada, yada, right? I want to do that. I want to open up a facility where moms that are going to have babies that are starting to feel that stress of like, this is not where I want to bring my baby back home to. Like, I need quiet, I need peace. We all need that in the beginning of once we have our baby. I want to be able to provide that, whether it's through a donation facility, whether it's through Medi-Cal, whether it's through insurance. We're going to figure it out as we're going through this, but mark my words, we're going to open one. And you guys are going to be part of that journey, because there is no way that so many women can have babies in this world and go back to a place where there's chaos and they don't find that peace, and that's where people get stuck in their postpartum depression, and then they go into psychosis and they can't get out of that, and then they end up being the crazy mom. And it's just like all of this could have been prevented if they would have got help the moment that they had their baby. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to be part of that. And if you guys know of any facilities that are already doing that, because I don't know of any, send them my way and let me know, and maybe we can, you know, um, do like a little collab where we can promote them and stuff like that. Because honestly, women, we do so much. We do so much, and men do too, but I feel like they don't understand that level of mental change that we go through once we have our babies. It changes our body, it changes the way that we think. We become so overprotective. So, perfect example. I realized that the world was very toxic before I had my baby, but once I had her, it's like the weight that was lifted off of my shoulders when ah thank you, baby. The weight that was lifted off my shoulders when my dad passed away, and I didn't have to be defensive towards the people that were like toxic towards him. I feel like it just came back when I had my daughter because I have to protect her because the world looked so bad. You know, the world just looks so much more dangerous than it did before. And now I get fed fake food every 2 seconds. Thank you. Yummy. She's looking at the spoon like this girl did not just lick my spoon. For real. But yeah, if we can get to a point where we can get help for us women, we will be our own savior. We literally have to do so much more for each other, especially because how life has been right now. It's just been so toxic, so scary. We need more good. You know, we need to bring, I'm going to go ahead and curl my eyelashes and add some mascara, and then I'm going to apply my fake lashes. I feel like we need to bring more good into this world. I feel like we're so full of we're just unhealed humans, as you can tell, because there's so much hate in this world that I feel like if we would focus on the good of what people have to offer and what they have been offering, life wouldn't be this toxic. But yeah, let's hope and pray that everything gets better and we together can open up a facility for our beautiful women that have our babies and, you know, like I said, go to a toxic environment where they don't feel safe. And we're going to implement all the safety hazards that we can in that facility. Like, I want to have cameras. I want to be able to, like, you know, there's only a one-way opening, where there's a one-way opening in the room where they don't feel like, oh, if they fall asleep, they're going to steal their baby. I'm overthinking so many things because I want it to be a safe place for us women. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and then I'll come back and explain the rest. Okay, so I just completed my whole face already. But all I did was apply my lashes, filled in my eyebrows, finished my lipstick, and added some blush. But this is the finish makeup look. Simple, but not simple. And I also came out with my lash line. This is everything I've been doing behind the scenes. I still have a couple left. If you guys would want to purchase, just, you know, message me, comment under this post, and we'll go ahead and send those out. But I'm glad to be back. I hope that YouTube treats me well and, you know, we get those numbers going. And I will be on TikTok and probably be streaming also. I'm still not sure about that because I've been on you know, with Wendy, I've been on her streams and stuff, and I noticed that a lot of people just play video games, and I'm a mom. I could not be playing video games. I have to either be interacting with my baby or, you know, find things that have to do with her. So my content will be more about myself at times, but it is more for the moms. I will be bringing more content for moms, you know, of day-to-days with my daughter Scarlett. I will be introducing her to you guys soon in a video when I feel a little bit more comfortable. I will bring her on here. On my TikTok, it's going to be a little bit more personal where you guys can help me, you know, either dress up a corner that I'm fixing up for my living room, my kitchen, my food, etc. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. And again, I hope that we flourish and our numbers continue going up. And yeah, it's good to be back. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.